Imagine dying and being handed a book, not a story, not a prayer, but a step-by-step guide to surviving the afterlife. Over 3,000 years ago, the ancient Egyptians believed death was not the end, it was a trial. A dangerous journey filled with demons, gates, passwords, and judgment. Fail, and your soul would be erased forever. Succeed, and you would live eternally among the gods. This book was called the Book of the Dead, and it decided everything. Despite its name, the Book of the Dead was not a single book. It was a collection of spells, prayers, and instructions written on papyrus, tomb walls, and coffins. Each copy was custom-made for the dead person, tailored to protect their soul alone. The wealthy had long, beautifully illustrated versions. The poor had shorter ones, sometimes only a few spells. But everyone feared the same thing: what awaited them after death. To the Egyptians, the afterlife was not automatic. You could not simply die and live forever. Your soul had to survive a terrifying journey through the Duat, the underworld, filled with monsters, traps, and divine gatekeepers. Every mistake had consequences. The Book of the Dead existed for one reason only: to keep your soul alive. The Egyptians believed the soul was made of multiple parts. Your ka was your life force, your ba was your personality, your ak was your transformed, eternal spirit. If any part was destroyed, you were lost forever. The Book of the Dead taught the soul how to reunite itself, before it was too late. After death, the soul awakened, confused, alone, and hunted. It would face gates guarded by terrifying beings who demanded secret names and phrases. Say the wrong words, and the gates would not open. The Book of the Dead contained the exact phrases needed to pass. Without it, the soul wandered forever. Some spells protected against snakes made of fire. Others stopped demons from tearing the heart out of the soul. One spell even prevented the dead from forgetting their own name, because forgetting meant annihilation. Memory itself was a weapon, and the Book of the Dead preserved it. But the greatest trial came last: the judgment of the soul. The heart, believed to contain all thoughts and sins, was weighed against the feather of truth. If the heart was heavier, the soul would be devoured, completely, forever. Waiting beside the scales was Amit, a monster part lion, crocodile, and hippo. If the heart failed, Amit consumed it. No punishment, no fire, just total erasure. To the Egyptians, this fate was worse than hell. One spell mattered more than all others. Spell 125, the Declaration of Innocence. The dead would stand before the gods and say, "I have not murdered. I have not stolen. I have not lied." It was the first moral judgment system ever recorded. Osiris sat on the throne of judgment. Thoth recorded the verdict. Anubis controlled the scales. The gods were not forgiving. They were precise. Your entire life was measured in silence. If the heart balanced perfectly, the soul was declared true of voice. You were allowed to enter the field of reeds, a perfect version of Egypt, where crops never failed and death never returned. But even there, the Book of the Dead was still needed. The afterlife was not rest. You worked. You farmed. You lived again, forever. Shabti statues were buried with the dead to work for them. Even eternity required labor. The Book of the Dead reveals something chilling. The Egyptians feared non-existence more than pain. To be forgotten was the ultimate death. That is why names were carved in stone, and why the Book of the Dead preserved the soul's identity. Not everyone could afford a full Book of the Dead. Some had only fragments, some copied spells from others. But every Egyptian, riche or poor, wanted protection from oblivion. The Book of the Dead shaped ideas of judgment, morality, and the afterlife that still exist today: heaven, hell, judgment. These ideas did not begin later. They began here. To the ancient Egyptians, death was not the end. It was a test and a map through darkness, a defense against erasure, a reminder that even thousands of years ago, humans feared being forgotten. What are your thoughts about the Book of the Dead? Comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. More ancient stories are coming.